Hello to my 500 something subscribers on YouTube. It is now January 2025 and I have not posted a single video in months. And I'm not here to rant about all the excuses I could give for why I have not posted a video in months. I'm just here to get back on track. So let me show you a few things for what is to come of this year. I have all of these awesome pieces of wood now. I have these shelves up full of all different species of wood, including pine, maple, oak, cherry, walnut, ash, all kinds of cool stuff. So I have been working on some projects, making cutting boards, epoxy resin charcuterie boards. I keep going with that. I think I've made like 9 or 10 of them at this point. I really haven't been doing a whole lot with furniture. I've been focusing primarily on woodworking, and that's probably what the focus will be this entire year. I'm gonna finish off all of the projects of furniture that I have right now, and I'm probably not going to pick up any more unless it's like a really, really good steal of a deal. Because I have all of this wood that I want to make things out of, while I have this workshop while I'm still living here, just to get it made and get it gone, make a lot of money, hopefully. I also bought some new tools. I bought this pretty sweet Harbor Freight sander with a dust collector. That's really helpful. I just bought, if I can grab it, this awesome router, fixed base, and it has a plunge base kit. So that is going to be my new way of flattening slabs, so I'm not constantly using my boss's 12-inch planer. And I'm gonna need something to flatten boards that are over 12 inches, so that'll be really nice. Today's project is I'm going to be building a table for my router. I didn't feel like buying anything. I'm just gonna build a rolling table. I bought wheels to put on the bottom. And I'm gonna make it 3 foot by 4 foot. And I'm gonna make the top as flat as possible. Just put like a 3/4 inch piece of plywood over it. And I'm gonna build my own router sled. And I'm gonna use that to flatten all these slabs. And all of this awesome wood that I have laying around. Hopefully I can get back on track because I do like posting videos on this channel. It is nice. But I also want to prioritize my music channel, and I also have an animation channel. So it's just about balancing between all the millions of hobbies that I have. But anyways, enough rambling. In this video, I'm going to build this router table, so enjoy. So a couple of things real quick. So we're already on day 2 of this project, and it doesn't look like a ton of work has been done. But I'm gonna be very picky about this because it needs to be perfectly square. The top needs to be perfectly flat. So I have been taking a lot of extra time on top of setting everything up for filming to make sure everything is the exact same measurement, everything is tight and all good and square. So I spent the last probably hour and a half last night trying to fix a teeter in it. Because once I got this frame all put together, there was like a 1/4 inch teeter on two of the sides, or one across from the other diagonally. There was a big teeter, and I didn't know why. I couldn't figure it out. So this morning I came out and I tried shimming a bunch of things, and that did fix it. It was just one seam right here that wanted to bow up. When it was unscrewed, it wanted to bow up. So I had to shim a bunch of things with it to get it flat and then to fix the teeter. And it luckily it worked, so now it doesn't teeter at all. But that took a long time. And also, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I wanted to originally make it 3 foot wide by 4 foot long. As soon as I put it together, I realized that 2 foot by 4 foot would be more than enough for the majority of the projects that I would be flattening on top of this. And if I were to be doing something bigger than 2 foot by 4 foot, I can just set it on the ground and make a little router sled just to put on the ground. And I figured that would be flat enough, I also bought these wheels for it. I don't know if I mentioned that either. These little 2-inch wheels, but I'm gonna put those on the bottom of it so it's a rolling cart. And once I figure out where everything is going to be laid out on the bottom, I will put some cross members. I was going to put some in anyway, probably just 2. But where I'm going to put them is going to be determined by where the edge of these are to split on these boards and the decorative border that I put on. So that'll be about perfect. It'll probably be about a foot in this way and a foot in that way. And then I will do the same for the top, probably just evenly space it for whatever kind of plywood I put on. I did this off camera just because it's a lot of the same thing, but I put these supports in for the top and I centered them, so 0 to 16 inches to 48 to 64. Now that I have all of the essential stuff in, I say that because I might at some point put decorative X's on the sides or something, but now that I have all of the framing done, I can, since I'm gonna paint the frame and I'm gonna stain the cedar. So I'll take all the cedar back off, I'll stain it separately while I paint the frame. So now onto the sled, and that is going to be really interesting. I think I have it in my head how I'm going to make it, and it makes sense to me in my head, but it's going to be really difficult to explain. So today I was able to get all the wood jointed and sanded and all nice and flat and square. So now I can kind of give you a visual representation of what I'm talking about. So this is the outside of the sled, and then this is the inside. Now there'll be notches in here, so then this whole inner part can sit down on it and slide back and forth. And then on these two corners, they'll also be notched out, and then the router will sit on this and be able to slide back and forth as this is sliding back and forth. So that's how this will work. So I have the whole sled put together, and I am honestly surprised with how well I actually got it to work exactly how I wanted it to and pictured it in my mind. I'm kind of impressed with myself. So you got those notches that this sits in, and then these notches that the router sits in. And this slides this way, and the router slides this way. And I was a little bit bummed out because I had the router in the fixed base, and I just kept going off of the empty plunge base for it to slide back and forth and to gauge it for the width and everything, and I didn't have the actual router in it. And once I put the router in it and started moving it back and forth, it was wanting to be all jittery, and I was really bummed out about that. So I was trying to figure out a way to lubricate this almost so it slides better, and I remembered that I have this wood wax that I use for cutting boards, so I put some on the track here, and it slides amazing now. I mean, kind of like a duh, but it slides. Oh, that's just because of the cord, and I'm doing it one-handed, but it slides amazing now. So I have this piece of really warped, I think it's white oak. I'm gonna put it in here and I'm gonna test it out. So this thing works amazing, at least for what I was expecting anyways. It flattens it really well. I mean, that does no justice on camera, but compared to what it was before, that's pretty good. The only thing though, there's two things. It makes these lines, which that'll sand out super easy, but I don't know if I just have to go one way and then go back the other to kind of fix it. I haven't really tried that, but I just noticed that it makes these lines. Either way, it'll sand out really easy, I hope. And then the other thing is it makes it shoots wood shavings all over the place, and the dust attachment, I just hooked it up to the vacuum. The vacuum attachment fits right in there. It doesn't really do anything, so I put these kind of barriers on the sides, and that definitely helps a little bit. The way the bit spins though, it flings everything this way, so I'm gonna have to, this isn't really enough. It catches a lot right here, but then it gets through here, and so I just kind of took some scrap pieces of plywood that I had laying around and I put them on here. I'm gonna need something longer that extends back here to kind of catch all of this. And I'm inevitably just gonna have to get a dust collector at some point. I don't have one of those yet. So my dad got real sick of the dust being spun everywhere real quick, so he went out and he bought me a dust collector, so I have that now. I rigged that up. I put some new pieces of plywood to act as kind of a barrier or a room around the table to prevent the wood shavings from going anywhere else, and I drilled some holes for the tubes of the dust collector to go through, so it stops a lot of the dust from getting to the rest of the shop from that little table. This is the piece of wood that I did in this video. Try and get one with the sun. It still needs a little bit more sanding, but it looks really nice. It's perfectly flat, so I'm very happy with that. I'm probably going to turn it into an end grain cutting board. I really don't know what else I would do with it. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. In addition to that piece of wood that I flattened in this video, since then, I have also done a couple of other things, including this live edge towel rack and this live edge coat rack, which are both perfectly flat. So I am very pleased with the router table. I'm definitely proud of myself for pulling that off without looking up any tutorials or anything. It was just all what I thought was best in my head, and it all worked out. So I will definitely be using that in my future videos. Probably just about every single video for this year, because I plan on doing a lot of cutting boards, because I have a lot more wood now. I don't know, cutting boards, they definitely seem to be a big seller for woodworkers. Just a good beginner project. And there's obviously a big range of skill levels for making cutting boards, but basic cutting boards seem to be a really good seller for beginners. So I will definitely be making more of those. I also just started putting this video together, and it's probably going to be a long one. I haven't edited anything yet, but just by putting all the clips together, it's probably going to be a long one. So great way to start off the new year. I know it's the end of January already, but hopefully there will be plenty of videos to come this year. So stay tuned for that. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave those down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.